Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Triggers.
So, triggers ante trigger ane actually triggers also one of the PL SQL object only. Okay. So if we are saying the definition of the trigger, trigger is a validation process which occurs automatically without any explicit calling, not a column, explicit calling. Okay. Means once we are creating any object, okay, for table, select star from table, we are saying, like views also same. For procedures, execute procedure, we are giving. Function, select statement, we are calling. But what is the beauty of the trigger, right? Trigger, that's why we are saying a name itself a trigger. Okay, it is also PL SQL object and PL SQL block only, but we no need to call the triggers. Automatically, it can occur automatically whenever the event happen. So, means how it will be happening. I will tell you what is that event happening. Mainly, we use triggers for a maintain a audit history, and we use for the business requirements. Okay, based on the business requirement, okay, we will create the triggers. And one more thing is mostly audit purpose. Audit purpose, we will use the triggers. So these triggers will be fired if we apply any DML operations on a table. Means implicit triggers here, they are saying. Actually, triggers are different types of triggers are there. Like triggers are like a DML level, database level, table level, like different types of triggers are there. But we don't go with the database triggers. We will go with the DML triggers only. Means any DML operation occurs on the table level triggers. We will go with the table level triggers. Those triggers are not a DDL triggers also. We are going with the only DML triggers. Okay. For developers, it is required. Okay. For admin purpose, admins, they are using a DB level triggers. Scheme, okay, that is different. DB level or schema level or whatever it may be they want, they will create. But developers, PL SQL, as a PL SQL developer, you need only table level triggers. Those are nothing but a DML triggers. Okay. So these triggers will be fired. Means trigger we are not calling, right? What it will be? Trigger will be fired. Okay, trigger when it will be fired. Whenever the DML event, DML operation happened, automatically trigger will fire. Okay. Yeah, this is saying about DDL also. DDL on schema level triggers, but we are not using those things. Only we will go with the DML triggers. Okay, when DML level, any DML operation happen on that particular table, automatically this trigger it will fires. Okay, if you're DML level means if you are inserting, updating, deleting, based on what you are creating, which event you are creating. Based on that, it will trigger it. On that particular table, if you're using update, then immediately trigger will fire update. If you are doing insert, then insert. If you are creating a trigger with insert statement, then insert while inserting that table, not all the tables, which table you are inserting. If you are creating any trigger on that insert statement of that table, then it will fire. Otherwise, don't fire. Other tables, it not firing. Only whatever the tables you are creating triggers, those tables, DML operations happen. Then trigger will be firing. Okay. Actually, we have a different types of triggers. So totally we can say triggers, all three we told, right? Insert, update, delete, three types.
Delete.
Okay, insert, update, delete. And before or after. Before or after means before 3DMLs. Means after 3DMLs. Total how many? 3 plus 3, 6. Right? With
6.
before 3 triggers we will create. With after also we will create 3 triggers. Total 6. And not only these 6, statement level and row level triggers. Okay, 6 into again 2. Statement and row level. Based on the timing, before or after or 2 types. Again, statement level, row level triggers are there. Again, before or after. Total 6 into 2, that 12 triggers. Again, one more trigger is there instead of trigger. Instead of trigger, okay, one more trigger is there instead of trigger. Instead of trigger, we will create on views. Instead of trigger, we will create on views, not a tables. Earlier I told, while maybe you remember or not, I asked you while we are discussing about the views, I told DML operations, if you are using a multiple tables, joining condition, okay, DML operations, we cannot apply on that view, right? If you are, maybe you remember or not, but only one way is there instead of trigger. That instead of trigger, remember me, we will discuss while explaining the triggers. Okay. So here, before, sorry, instead of trigger, we are using on only views. Okay. So that is one trigger. Total 13 types of triggers are there. But maybe based on their thinking, they are classifying differently. But simple thing is, one is statement level, second row level trigger, and before, based on the timing, before and after, based on the event, means DML operation, insert, update, delete. Okay, total 2 into 3 into 2, 12 plus 1 instead of trigger. Okay, difference between the before and after triggers, how it will be happening. Trigger will be firing before update or insert or delete on the table. Okay, same way after trigger will be fire after update or insert or delete. Whatever before, if you are giving, right, trigger will be firing before update or insert or delete on the table. Means if you are giving an insert statement, before that trigger will fire. Okay, suppose after, if you are giving, right, after inserting the data, okay, trigger will be firing. After inserting into the table, trigger will be firing. Either one. Okay, before or after. And if table having a unique constraints and that the table having a before row level trigger, you are trying to insert. Understand, right? If a table having a unique constraint and the table having a before row level trigger, then if you are trying to insert duplicate values on the table, first before row level trigger will be fired. Okay, same way, if table having a unique constraint and the table having a after row level trigger, then you are trying to insert the duplicate values on the table. First unique constraints will be fired. Okay, suppose unique constraint is there on the table. First here, what it will be fired? Trigger will be fired before. After means first unique constraint will be fired. Okay. Here row level trigger will be fired before means. If unique constraint is there, after if you are keeping, then unique constraint will be fired. So that is the thing, before or after. We'll see. No need to confuse. While doing the examples, you will get to know. Okay. Yeah. Another important thing is for row level triggers, already we discussed a few of the pseudo columns. What are the pseudo columns we discussed? Did you remember? Anyone can tell? Few of the pseudo columns. Hmm? Those are functions, not pseudo columns.
Alias.
No. Remember. Recollect what you learned.
Per value instrument. Hello.
Any other,
Per value next value.
any other things?
Row number, row ID.
Clearly, this concept itself, one day I explained. Pseudo columns, row number, row IDs, next val, curve val. These all are pseudo columns. While explaining row number, row ID, clearly I told you, pseudo columns are not defined with the table. It is automatically created with the table. No need to explicitly specify the pseudo columns and give the data types. These are the types. Data types no need to specify. Automatically, whenever we are writing the select statement, the pseudo columns directly we can call from the select statement. I told. You are forgetting everything. Then how will you take the interviews? So first we discussed row ID, row number. At the time I told. Again, we discussed about the sequences. In the sequence, next val and curve value came. At the time also again we discussed. Again pseudo columns are here. New, column new, and column old. These also pseudo values only. Okay. New dot employee number, old dot employee. And yeah, one more word also is there, identifier something we are calling again for this one. Identifiers and pseudo values also we are saying. We can change the new old values. Means if row level trigger means two things it is happening. New, old.
Old.
Yeah, here what it is trying to say, right? Actually, while once we are getting like a row level trigger, we are seeing, then you will get to know what it is happening. So we can change the new and old values if we are using a before. After, if we are using right, we cannot change. If we try to modify new and old values, then the trigger will create with the compilation error. Means we cannot modify new old values in after row level trigger. But before row level, before we can use it. Okay, data won't store in the buffer, means it is not occupy space in memory, because before insert trigger will be firing. Okay, data first will be stored in a buffer, means it will be occupy space in your memory. Means after one, means after insert, after everything, means insert, update, delete happening, then only it is happening. So that is it. That's why it is storing in the buffer. Before insert, update, delete means it's not occupying any space. Why? Because it's not inserted or updated or deleted. Before only we are triggering this one. So space not occupied. That is, it is a, okay. For today, we will talk about the statement level trigger. Tomorrow we will talk about the row level trigger. So as of now, we will discuss statement level trigger. So first we will see the syntax of the trigger. Okay, what is the syntax of the trigger? Okay, create or replace as usual. Create or replace trigger name means object
The trigger name.
okay, object name. Okay, procedures, functions, how we are packages, how we are creating, same way we are creating, create or replace trigger name. Okay, after that, this is the important. Before, okay, actually, so create or replace trigger name
Trigger
before
name.
or after.
Insert
Yeah,
or
before or after, or insert or update or delete on table name. Actually, this is a table name. Okay. This is a table name. Here also, before and after it will come. Sorry, already it is there, right? So if we are writing before, we no need to write after. Okay. But insert, update, delete, we can see insert, update, or delete all together also we can write it. Insert or update or delete on table name. Okay. After that, if you want to declare any variables or anything, we can create here. Begin and same way what we are doing, begin and begin and so, and what are the statements you want to write right here between the begin and end. Okay, between the begin and end, whatever the statement you want to, you can write it.
it. Time. Type.
So what we are doing before insert or update, delete on table name. Means whatever the table name already he created. See, for triggers, you have to create your own tables. Otherwise, what is happening, right? Where whenever your DML operations occurs, right? These triggers will fire. These insert updates are not happening. Okay, so that's why triggers for only for triggers you create another table. So don't use the regular tables. Okay, while creating the triggers, you have to create your own tables and apply triggers on that one. Okay, don't use regular tables, what you are using, EMP, DEPT, whatever. Just some other tables you create and do it. Okay, you know, earlier we created pragma autonomous transaction for the functions. Okay, before that we can pragma autonomous here. We'll see what is happening. Pragma autonomous is not mandatory. If any error occurs, we'll see first error, then we will create it. Okay. Here nothing. What we are doing here, right? If sysdate, okay, day means today day. Sysdate means today date, right? It is giving a full day. Day means full day. It will give. Means
Full
today
day.
is a Saturday or Sunday. Generally, nowadays, IMPS transactions came. So you are able to do the transactions and phone pay, Google Pay, you are able to do. Earlier, there is a bank holidays every second Saturday and Sunday. All Sundays are a bank holiday. Same way, second Saturdays also bank not works and last Saturdays also. Even now also. Second and fourth Saturdays, banks are holiday. So that day, whatever the transactions happening, the transactions, it should not happen on Saturday, Sunday. So that's why we are creating here one trigger on any one of the table. If day is Saturday or Sunday, okay, insert into audit statement before values, user one user sysdate, okay. Then commit raise application error. Raise application error, you know, right? Raise application error, it is a user defined exception. Okay. This raise application error we can create anywhere in the begin and end. Okay. Between the begin and end. We are using raise application error and the statement level trigger. We are using raise application error in the statement level trigger. Okay. Why we are using here? What I want, right? If it is a Saturday or Sunday, okay, if it is a Saturday or Sunday, then we should not insert data into the table. We should not insert data into the table. So the transaction should not happen. That's why we are raising this application error. What I told while explaining raise application error, it is raising in the application side and giving user-friendly message. What is the reason? Why it's this exception happened? That user-friendly message we can give it. So here, same thing we are doing here. What we are doing. Yeah, and one more thing also I told while explaining raise application error. It can raise application error. This error code or error number, we have to define our own number. It should be 20,000 to 20,999, right? 20,000 to 999. So This number, whatever the number you are giving, you have to give that number between 20,000 to 20,999. Okay, and this message, whatever the user-friendly message, user can understand whatever the message, that message we have to define here. You cannot modify employee table on Saturday or Sundays. Okay, and this is mandatory, not mandatory. So I am commenting. Okay, we'll see how it will be happening. Employee table already it is there. So Prabhu create one table with the employee table structure only, but STMT underscore EMP. This is the table now. Create it. Okay. So after creating the table, with data only created, with the data created. Okay. Then this is copy into your notepad and execute in the SQL in the Oracle. So now I am stop sharing. You can share your screen. Quickly, we have only 5 minutes. Share your screen.
Table, what is the table?
What is the table you created?
I am creating
Huh?
create table. Which table?
Check the chart. STMT underscore EMP. Where are you? STMT underscore EMP. Write it. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
STMT. Where is your table? Have you created the table?
After creating table, this one.
Remove the pragmatic transaction and that insert, first insert.
Create.
Now try to insert. What you are giving here, insert, update or delete? All three, right? Try to insert into this table. What is today?
25 today.
Specify one or two columns, employee number in it. So today is what is the day?
Thursday, sir.
On Thursday.
So Thursday means it will allow or not? Okay.
It will allow, sir.
Employee number. Values employee number ename give. Why are you typing Thursday? Give any number. So today is a Thursday, so we are able to create it. Now change that procedure Thursday. Instead of Saturday, keep Thursday. Go to trigger. Change it to Thursday. Thursday and Friday also.